Have to bring me in alive, bounty hunter.
Nah.
There's been some buzz going around that Jason Momoa might be stepping into the shoes of Lobo. And if that happens, we could be in for some serious fun because Lobo's got quite the backstory and powers. Now, if Momoa does land the role, word on the street is that we might catch a glimpse of him in the new movie, Superman Legacy. Yep, that's the one with a bunch of other DC characters already lined up. So if you're itching to see Momoa as Lobo, you might want to keep your eyes peeled till the end of this video. Lobo's got quite the reputation in the comic world, known for his blend of dark humor, tough guy vibes, and serious power moves. It seems like he could slide right into director James Gunn's vision for a darker and humor-infused DC Universe without missing a beat. With Gunn's DC Universe revamp in full swing, there's been talk about shaking up some of the mainstays of the DCEU, including Jason Momoa possibly taking on the role of Lobo. It's a role that hasn't been explored on the big screen yet, so fans are buzzing with excitement about the possibilities. Speaking of Momoa, he's set to don the Aquaman suit one last time in December 2023 for Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Studio bigwigs are undoubtedly crossing their fingers for another box office hit to cap off the DCEU era with a bang before diving headfirst into the DCU reboot. So here's how things are shaping up in the DC Universe. They've been busy casting for Superman Legacy, which is set to kick off the whole new era of DC movies. We already know some of the faces we'll be seeing, like David Cornswet stepping in for Henry Cavill as Superman, and Nathan Fillion joining the crew thanks to his ties with James Gunn. But what about Jason Momoa? Well, it seems like his role in the DCU's future is still under wraps. However, there's been quite the buzz lately about him possibly taking on the role of Lobo, one of DC's fan-favorite anti-heroes. Rumor has it that talks are happening behind the scenes, and if they pan out, Momoa could be the perfect fit for the intergalactic bounty hunter. Now, about all the drama surrounding Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, let's just say things have been a bit chaotic, especially with all the headlines about Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. Amidst all that noise, there's been whispers that Momoa might be eyeing up a new gig as Lobo once his time as Aquaman wraps up. So word has it that Jason Momoa might just be strapping on Lobo's boots sooner than we think, possibly even in Superman Legacy. Now with the cast already bursting at the seams with DC characters like Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific, Metamorpho, and Guy Gardner, adding Lobo into the mix could risk tipping the movie into overload territory. But hey, Lobo's got some serious ties to both Superman and Guy Gardner in the comics, so there's some solid logic there. Now let's talk about Lobo himself. This guy's a real character, starting off as your classic villain back in the 80s before transforming into a satire of all those gritty comic heroes from the 90s, like Punisher and Wolverine. Funny enough, that move shot him straight into the spotlight, and fans couldn't get enough of his wisecracking, skull-crushing antics. They even gave him the nickname The Last Zarnian, which, in his native tongue, basically means he's the guy who'll rip your guts out and have a blast doing it. Yep, Lobo's all about the blood, guts, and punchlines, a true intergalactic bounty hunter with a knack for stirring up trouble wherever he goes. Lobo's quite the complex character, straddling the line between villain and anti-hero. He's tight with Guy Gardner, but he's also a real thorn in Superman's side. Now here's where it gets interesting. Both Lobo and Superman come from planets that bit the dust, leaving them as the last of their kind. But while Superman's all about truth, justice, and the American way, Lobo's story takes a darker turn. See, he's the last Zarnian because he went and wiped out the rest of his people all by himself. So you can imagine, Lobo's not exactly a poster child for compassion and human kindness like Superman. In fact, he's pretty much the opposite. But hey, give the guy some credit. He's one of the few who can actually go toe-to-toe with the Man of Steel and hold his own. That takes some serious guts, no pun intended. Lobo's power level is a bit of a moving target depending on which comic you're reading, but one thing's for sure, he's a force to be reckoned with. He's got a super speedy healing ability, muscles on top of muscles giving him super strength, and a hide tough enough to shrug off just about anything. Oh, and let's not forget his knack for turning any weapon into a tool for maximum carnage. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Lobo's not just banned from one afterlife, he's banned from both heaven and hell. That means his spirit's stuck in the land of the living, making him pretty much immortal in every sense of the word. Yup, you heard that right. Immortal. So when it comes to toughness, Lobo's got Superman beat. Sure, Supes can take a hit, but Lobo, he's practically indestructible. Imagine the havoc he could wreak in the DCU, facing off against heroes and villains. With his immortality thrown into the mix, things could get seriously wild. One thing's for sure, when Lobo's in town, you better watch out for more than just his towering presence and sharp wit. Lobo might not have snagged a solo movie yet, but that doesn't mean he's not ready for his time in the spotlight. See, his no-holds-barred, ultra-violent style might have raised a few eyebrows in the past, but hey, that's what makes him so darn captivating. Sound familiar? Yep, he's got a lot in common with Deadpool, from his love of blowing stuff up to his ability to bounce back from just about anything. Picture a Lobo movie in the vein of Deadpool, complete with all the blood, guts, and R-rated goodness. That's the kind of vibe the DCU could be going for, especially with James Gunn at the helm. After all, he's not one to shy away from a little gore, as we saw in The Suicide Squad. But wait, there's more. Lobo's got some serious Wolverine vibes too. What with his gruff demeanor and knack for getting into brawls. And with Wolverine's cinematic success, it's high time DC put their own spin on the muscle-bound anti-hero. Now here's where it all comes together. James Gunn's love for quirky characters and dark humor. Lobo's got both in spades, making him a perfect fit for Gunn's DCU. And who better to bring this larger-than-life character to the big screen than someone who already embodies so much of Lobo's spirit, Jason Momoa. It's practically a match made in heaven, or maybe a more chaotic corner of the universe. Alright, now if Jason Momoa couldn't snag the role of Lobo, I've got two other actors in mind who could totally rock it. First up, we've got Danny Trejo. You know, that legendary action star with a reputation for playing tough guys? Yeah, him. Now, Danny might not be as tall as the comic book version of Lobo, but I think his shorter stature could add a whole new dynamic to the character, like a short, tough guy vibe. Plus, just imagine the hilarity of seeing him go toe-to-toe with Superman or Batfleck, who tower over him. Next, we've got Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Why take a chance on someone new when you've got a guy who's already nailed the whole hyper-violent, black-humored, sardonic, and masculine thing not once but twice? I mean, just look at his roles as Negan and the Comedian. They're practically made for Lobo. And with his imposing 6'2" frame, he's got the physical presence to pull it off. Now, I know some folks were hoping for JDF, but since he's out of the running, I've got a couple more names to throw into the mix. Mickey Rourke could bring a whole new level of intensity to the role, channeling his performances as Marv from Sin City and Whiplash from Iron Man 2. The guy's got the size, the voice, and plenty of experience in hyper-violent action flicks. And last but not least, we've got Ron Perlman. Sure, there's some conflict of interest with him potentially playing Cable in Deadpool 2, but if that doesn't pan out, Lobo could be the perfect fit. I mean, Lobo's basically Clay Morrow from Sons of Anarchy in space, so who better to bring that rough-and-tumble vibe to life than Ron? Plus, I'm a huge fan of his work, so I'd love to see him take on the role. Well, that's it for today. For now, make sure that you like our video. Subscribe to the channel to get updated, and do not forget to hit the bell icon to never miss an update. Thanks for watching the video, and we'll see you at the next one.